doing one of the most requested looks from you guys, which is a South Asian bridal makeup tutorial. So I'm really excited. I tried to give you guys the full effect by wearing earrings, by wearing jewelry, and obviously the veil, because that's a big part of it. Your hair is usually not down for Hindu ceremonies. And what we have done for you is that another one of the awesome Indian makeup gurus here on YouTube named Arshia from Happy Treasuress and I have teamed up to do a full out wedding and Mehndi Sangeet makeup look for you guys. So if you guys are familiar with Hindu culture, we tend to have many events preceding the wedding. It's not just the wedding and reception. So she is doing a makeup look for one of the biggest events that we have before the wedding, which is the Mehndi and Sangeet program, which is a musical dance program that we do before the wedding. So she is going to do a makeup look for that for the bride, and I have done the actual wedding makeup look. So the big thing here is that most brides will wear a lot of red on their wedding day. That is our wedding color, and we tend to wear gold jewelry. We did a really contoured cheekbone as well. That's just because I like to do that on my face. And a dark lip. We tend to go dark on the eyes and lips for Indian weddings. So I'm really excited for this. Make sure you guys check out Arshia's look, and I'm going to go ahead and post some pictures right here so you guys can see what she came up with. She is an awesome makeup guru. She does a lot of lifestyle stuff as well, and if you guys are getting married, she's done a lot of wedding videos before, like, you know, preceding her own wedding since she is recently married. So if you guys want to see how I got this, then please keep watching. This time I'm going to go ahead and actually start with doing my eyebrows, because that'll give us a format to go with for the eyes, because you'll kind of know how high you want to take the crease, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and link my eyebrow video down below so you guys can check that out. Then my Bobbi Brown Dark Peach Corrector, I'm going to go ahead and get all the dark areas of my under eye. If you guys kind of struggle with the same thing, this is a great product to get in there and remove that darkness. Then I'm using Urban Decay's Primer Potion and priming my eyelid. That's just my personal favorite one, but there are a ton that you can go for. Next, I'm taking Rubenesque Paint Pot by MAC, and I'm going to go ahead and lay this down all over the eyelid. It's not very opaque, and that's actually totally fine. You can take this up pretty high. I'm just going to go ahead and layer it on a couple times so the eyeshadow has something nice and sticky to stick to, and it'll also make the golds that we use more pigmented. Next, I'm using Amber Lights eyeshadow by MAC. This is such a pretty gold. It has a lot of yellow to it as well, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the outer corner of my eye and the inner corner. And the middle, I'm just going to kind of leave empty, or as empty as I can at least. I'm going to be putting on something brighter in there. If you want to get a little bit of the middle, you can, but just try to focus most of the color on the outside. Next, I'm using In the Spotlight by Makeup Geek, and I'm using that to just put on the center of my eyelid, that area that we had left empty. If you don't have this eyeshadow, use any brighter gold that you have, or you can even foil your brush and then use this. You just want something to make that inner, or that middle part just look brighter. Then I'm going back in within the spotlight and in the corner of my tear duct, but not in the tear duct yet. I'm just going to sort of, at an angle, just raise the color on top of Amber Light. Then with Soft Brown, also by MAC, I'm going to go ahead and just create a transition shade. The brush that I'm using here, I'm going to talk to you guys about in a video soon to come, because it's amazing. But you're going to go right on top of Amber Lights and just create a rounded shape, but not too much of it. Then I'm going to go ahead and use this method to create my angle as opposed to tape, because tape can really pull and tug, but I don't really want to do that. So holding this down, I'm going to use this to basically create the shape that I want with Soft Brown. I haven't added any other color. So now I'm going to go ahead and use Handwritten by MAC, and I'm just sort of adding in a little bit more depth by going a little bit under. So now we're not as high up, we're a little bit lower, as you guys can tell. And I'm also using Brun. As you guys can tell, it's a darker, cooler tone as opposed to warmer, just to darken it up. So I'm just going in maybe about halfway into the eye, and again down below. Then with Handwritten again, I'm going to again go in and sort of warm up the brown. I just like warmer tones as opposed to cooler tones when you're using gold, because it just looks a little bit more festive and softer as opposed to something starker. Next, I'm going to go in with Carbon Eyeshadow by MAC. You can take any black that you want. I also am going to use this brush and just sort of deepen up the very corner of it, as you guys can tell. And this time I'm going even lower than that Handwritten color was. I also changed up my brush to get a little bit more opacity with this. And I'm literally just touching the very outer corner of my eyelid really lightly to get that dark color. And you can keep building until you get the darkness that you want. Next, I'm using a blending brush that doesn't really have anything on it and just blending everything out. Whenever you feel like you've made a mistake or you might have gone too dark, that's the best way to erase it. Then with rice paper and nylon eyeshadow by MAC, also I'm getting my inner tear duct area. I like the mixture that these two colors create as opposed to just going with one of them. And I am going up pretty high again to create my rounded shape. Then with any black eyeliner that you want, I'm going to go ahead and get my waterline down below. Just keep darkening it up until you get the darkness that you want. This is just the one that I like, but you can use anything. Just make sure it's waterproof or something that is not going to come off, because for events like weddings, you definitely need things that are going to remain on. Then with rice paper eyeshadow by MAC, I'm going to go ahead and get my brow bone. This is my favorite for brides. I just like that it's not really gold, it's not really silver, it's a sort of in between. And I think that's the safest bet to go with. And you really do want the brow bone highlighted so that everyone's eyes sort of capture and look at your eyes as opposed to anything else, because that sort of is the big feature for women. Next, I'm going to again go in with the blending brush just to show you guys that whenever you feel like something's not right, just go back and blend. Then with copper pigment by MAC, I'm just taking a flat brush. I have not foiled it. It's actually dry, and I'm going to go ahead and pat on the pigment just on the inner 1/3 as well as center of the eyelid. You can keep patting until you feel like you can really see the glitter. Next, I'm using Benefit's Their Real Gel Eyeliner Pen to create a really dark but thin line. I chose this one just because it is super, super dark. I also have a review up on this on my blog, and I'm just going to go in small strokes. I think that's the easiest way to do eyeliner so that you don't create a mistake. And then I am going to create a wing on the very end. So I'm just going to look at an angle down and just hold my eyebrow and skin up to get the shape that I want. You want it to go in the same sort of shape as your eyeshadow that you've done. So you can just, start with small strokes so you don't mess up. It's always easier that way than connect all the little strokes together. So I'm just going back in, and eyeliner does take a while to get perfected. It honestly is one of those things, but you'll get the hang of it for sure. Then I'm going to get in on the lower lash line and just get the inside corner. I just want to have a dark, thick eyeliner, and you guys will see why in a second. Now with my MAC Pro Longwear and W35 concealer, I'm going to get the under eye area. I hate the pump on this. It just dispenses so much. And then I'm going to just go ahead and get the lower eyelid area just to highlight it a bit, but I mean, we are going to go back in there later anyways. This is just to conceal a tiny bit. Then with a smudger brush, I'm going to take soft brown and go ahead and sort of smudge out my bottom eyeliner with this eyeshadow. Again, I prefer warmer tones on the lower eyelid as well. I just think it looks better. So I'm using just soft brown and smudging in the eyeliner that we already have. Next, back with nylon and rice paper, I'm just pulling my inner tear duct highlight into the inner 1/3 corner of my eye. And then with Makeup Forever's Matte Velvet Plus Foundation, that's the one that I chose for my face because I feel like you want a thick matte foundation just because for weddings, you are going to be photographed, and an oily look is just not something that photographs well, so you don't want to really try to go for that dewy look. You want to be matte. Then with the NARS Radiant Concealer, in the color Ginger, I'm going to go ahead and get my under eye areas, and I just basically want to highlight my face. This is super, super important for bridal makeup. You want to look highlighted and contoured in all the right places, so I'm picking up a lot, as you guys can see. I'm also getting the center of my forehead and a little bit down my nose. And with the Beauty Blender, I'm going to go ahead and blend this out. This also helps because it's so thick that if you do have acne or anything like that, this concealer really will help cover all of that up. So it's a great bet for that. And I like the finish that it gives with the Beauty Blender specifically. Then I'm going in with a darker color, also by the NARS Radiant Concealer, to cover up any blemishes that I have. Because remember, for bridal makeup, you want to look really perfect. You don't want to be able to see any skin problems. So I'm definitely going back in there and adding concealer. And I'm blending that out with my Beauty Blender as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and set my face with MAC's Translucent Loose Powder. That's my favorite just because at this point I don't need any more coverage because I've gone ahead and concealed. But if you feel like you do want to cover up some more, you can definitely go with a colored powder, like, something skin colored. Just be careful you don't cover up the highlighting that we've done. But that's a great way to get additional coverage if this wasn't enough. Next, with NARS Casino Bronzer and the MAC 109 brush, I'm going to go ahead and bronze. This is specifically just to bronze to bring back some color into the face because we have highlighted so much. but this is not our contour. You guys will see in a second when I do contour, but right now it's literally just to bring back a little bit of depth onto the face because we've highlighted so much, we've opened up the face, but we don't want the face to look so wide. So this is my absolute favorite brush to do this with right now, and you guys will see a lot more tutorials with this, but you definitely want to get the cheekbone area, the jawline area, any area that you want to look slimmer. But, I mean, this is not a step that I would miss, even if you don't contour. So just keep adding as you see fit. As you guys can see, I'm adding this all over my cheek, not just even underneath my cheekbone. Then with Melba blush by MAC, which is broken, I'm using my Yachio brush by NARS to put on a ton of blush. For Indian wedding makeup, we actually do a lot. Like, we do a lot of foundation, lots of eyeliner, lots of eyeshadow, lots of blush, lots of lips, everything. So I'm just going to keep adding as I see fit until you get the desired darkness that you want. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is, basically the reason I chose this color is because I'm wearing red, and that's usually the color that we wear for our weddings, and a color like this sort of blends in as opposed to like a pink. I feel like pinks and reds don't go well together, which is why I chose something like this. And it is also a matte shade. I'm trying to stick to as much matte as I can on the skin because I have shimmer elsewhere. Now I'm going to go in with Blunt Blush by MAC. This is basically my contour color that I'm using. And just go ahead and make your duck face, figure out exactly where your cheekbones are, and go ahead and add that contour. Start lightly and little round motions. Less is really more. The more contouring you have going on, the older you're going to look. Because, you know, when you grow older, you sort of lose, you lose a little bit of your plumpness, and that creates that illusion of bones, so you don't want to look that way. So definitely don't go overboard with the contour, but just lightly feel out your cheekbones, and little round motions, go ahead and add in Blunt. Next, I'm adding a Makeup Forever pressed powder just underneath our contour. This is basically a color that's much lighter than my skin, and I'm placing this directly under my contour to basically show the contour more. So in case you've made the contour go too low, or you feel like it sort of changed your face shape in a way that you don't like, this is the perfect trick to sort of erase that, but also to make your work stand out more. So don't choose a color that's way, 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 way too light, but you want something that will sort of blend, but will help sort of erase out any harsh edges. Then I'm also going to use this under my eyes to brighten up even more. You want to look like you're awake. This is my favorite trick to brighten up your under eye area. Just use something really light. And I'm also going to go into the center of the forehead and down the nose, the areas that I highlighted with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer earlier. Next, I'm using Mario Dedovanovic's I Am Glam highlighter, and I'm using this on my cheekbones. Again, I really like this, but this is a peachy gold highlighter that I feel like can really be used with a variety of skin tones. And again, it's not silver because that wouldn't go with my skin color, which is why I chose something like this. And it is really pigmented, so you don't want to pick up too much. Then I'm using a berry colored lip liner by Ben Nye, and I'm lining my lips. You guys know the drill, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next part so we're not here lining our lips forever. Next, I'm using MAC's Diva lipstick, which is a really dark matte red color, which I love, but I'm just patting this on so as not to get too dark with it. Then I'm using Plum Crazy by Gerard Cosmetics lip gloss, which is also very pigmented. I'm going to go on top of my lipstick. I want to get this sort of in-between red and dark pink lip as opposed to something just red. Then with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, I'm going to go ahead and put on a very thin layer because we're going to be using lashes. So you want your lashes to be able to marry into this really naturally. Then with my lashes, I've chosen some really big lashes because I'm all about drama for an event like this. And lashes honestly are a must for a wedding. Wedding pictures look amazing with them. So I've gone ahead and put those on. You're going to keep tweaking and pushing until you know that they are on and not going anywhere. Make sure you get your lower lashes with mascara as well. At this point, once you know your lashes are on and they're not going to move, you can also go ahead and put on some more mascara up there also. And here is the finished look without my veil, and then here it is with my full outfit and jewelry. I hope you found this helpful, that it was everything that you guys wanted and more. Don't forget to check out the still pictures from this on my blog, which is live right now. And if you guys have any questions or comments, post down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye!